Yo, what's going on, guys? Back with another video. I'm remaking my old one, but this time I'm speeding it up at the request of some of my subscribers. Shout out to you guys, you know who you are. So, as you can see, I just shredded Margit the Fell Omen using a Moonveil. One of the more OP weapons, but as you can see right now, this run, I'm starting off killing the Tree Sentinel because I'm going to go for the Golden Halberd. It doesn't quite compare, but that's what I felt like doing. So I'm going to be narrating this whole run live because GeForce didn't record any of my audio, unfortunately. So as you can see, we got the map overlay here on the right hand side. Following the red arrows, we're just going to be grabbing graces, and I tried to avoid items like I did in my other video, just little random items that might not be of any use to any of you guys. I did grab the flail just now. We're going to be using that to kill the big dragon in Caelid for the 96,000 runes. We're going to sit down at the Grace anytime Melina shows up, and we have no choice but to talk to her. Also, we need Torrent to start. So I popped runes there early on. I picked the Lands Between rune as my starting keepsake, and I used that to boost my dexterity so I could wear the flail. Alright, so once we grab the Stormhill Shack Grace, we're going to do the Stormveil Castle skip. That's where we run around straight into Liurnia of the Lakes. And as you can see here, taking the bridge, the safe route, you can jump over the cliff, and that kind of saves you about 15 seconds, but this isn't really a speedrunning route. It's more just getting through the early stages of the game easily, sort of start to your game. So we're going to grab the Grace, and following the middle arrow now, grabbing the sacred tear on the way from the church, and then finally into the water for the final grace, grabbing a cookbook on the way. So I did decide to sit down here, which means Melina's going to show up and force me to go to the round table hold with her. I'm just going to jump right back to where I was before she took me there, and we're going to continue our way through the lakes. It's a little bit confusing because there's a lot of back and forth, but we're going to grab this map fragment and then continue on, and we're going to grab this grace here. Then our next destination is the warp gate that takes us to the southern entrance of the academy, and the purpose of that is to just grab the grace so that we can warp there whenever we need to later on. Alright, so next we're going to go for the map fragment for the eastern side of the lake. It's not needed, but I find it makes it easier to see where we're going. And we're also going to grab the grace that's next to it on our way northwest to the warp gate that will lead us to the King's Realm ruins, which is where we're going to grab the other grace on the western side of Liurnia that will allow us to quickly warp to Iji the blacksmith. And he also will have the Somber smithing stones 1, 2, 3, and 4, which we're going to need as the first of the 9 stones. So once we arrive at the King's Realm ruins, we're just going to go near the cliff edge and then jump over. You can also hit the illusory wall, and it will break through and take you straight to Iji. Then we're going to warp back to this grace here at the ruins, and following these arrows here, we're just grabbing these graces on the way to the Glintstone Academy key. That's just for convenience, assuming you want to come back to this area and explore or clear it out later. This is totally optional. We do need the key though, which is coming up here in a moment. So now we're going to head into this Dragon's Roost, and we're going to take all these items, including the Academy Glintstone Key, which is the sole reason we're here. Then we're going to head north and hit this grace. Okay, now we're finally ready to enter the Academy, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to slow this part down to 200 something percent instead of 400%, so it's a little bit easier to see where I'm going. I'm not going to have a map overlay open for this because it's simply too small, and there's so many twists and turns in a small space. I don't even think I could draw the arrows for it. So we're just going to charge ahead from the elevator and go up the stairs. We're going to head inside the church here, or whatever this thing is, and get the first grace that's tucked away to the left side here. Trying to avoid these skeleton cage guys that will kill you pretty quick if they catch you. So once you get here, you're going to see an elevator on your right side. That's this water wheel I just jumped on top of. We can ride it straight to the top like this and then run over to the bottom. And we're going to take it all the way to the bottom here. At the bottom is going to be an iron abductor or abductor virgin. I don't really know what they're called in this game. They seem to be called abductor virgin when you're fighting the boss. And as long as the abductor kills you with its cage grab ability, you'll get warped to Mount Gelmir outside of Volcano Manor. So once we arrive here at Volcano Manor, we're going to jump down and head for our first Somber Smithing Stone. So this first one is going to be the Somber Smithing Stone 6. You can jump along the rooftops, and if you watched my other video, that's what I did, but I realized there's a much more efficient route simply running along the bottom, and there's no risk of falling off and slowing you down. Then we're going to head straight up here and jump into this cage. I hold down my block because sometimes that serpent enemy likes to throw the whip. Then we run over here, grab the Somber Smithing Stone 5, and then it's off to the bridge. Watch out for this enemy here, he can kill you in one hit. And I've died many times after the bridge lever cinematic. So I screw up this jump a shit ton. I'm going to speed this up here at 400%. And you can watch me fail at high speed. Okay, so finally, I get the jump. Try to avoid this abductor, grab the Somber Smithing Stone 7, and then we sprint inside here. This is the underground entrance to Volcano Manor, and I do grab a Seedbed Curse. This isn't necessary, and I think it screws up some of your quests since it invites the Dung Eater into the Round Table Hold. We can grab the Royal Knight's Resolve here, which is a very strong Ash of War, and then open the doors to Volcano Manor. Sit down at the Grace, and that's it for this part of the map. And now we can warp back to Limgrave, where we're going to go for our 8th and 9th stones. So the first thing we're going to do in Limgrave, and I notice the map isn't exactly correct, is we're going to grab a Gold-Pickled Fowl's Foot. And this is going to boost our rune acquisition by roughly 20%. Which we're going to want when we're in Caelid fighting the big dragon. So I do run around a whole lot. The map that I have overlaid here is the correct route. Unfortunately, with the footage, I ran around trying to look for a shortcut, but wasted far more time than if I had just taken the direct path. So you can see finally I scale the cliffside, and I do stop at this little graveyard, grab a bunch of golden runes. These actually aren't necessary since we've already met the dexterity requirement to wield the flail that we need to bleed out the dragon. But now that we have, now that we're on the same level as the third Church of Marika, that's where we're going ahead, grabbing a map fragment on the way to reveal Eastern Limgrave, which will be handy later on, and a cookbook, as you can see, and various other items. And at the third Church of Marika, we also get the Flask of Wondrous Physic and the first crystal that you can mix into it, as well as a Sacred Tear, which are always good. So behind the church, we take this warp gate, which will take us straight to Grail's Dragon Barrow. We're going to crack the doors to the Bestial Sanctum and grab the Grace. So once we grab this bridge Grace, now we're going to head for the Grace that's behind the big sleeping dragon. And as you can see from the arrows, it's a bit of a winding path. There's an Erd Tree avatar here that you're going to want to avoid since he can kill you in one hit, as with most mobs here in Caelid, since we are severely underleveled at level 8 or 9 here with a starting character. So we could kill the big dragon now, but instead we're going to grab the Somber Smithing Stones 9, which is right here in this circle of chairs, and then 8 as well, which we get from killing a scarab beetle up here. And this one's kind of tough. You kind of have to be careful, and if you knock it off the cliff, excuse me, I just burped. You can see you have to chase it down onto the tree branches, and don't fall off yourself, but you can knock it down to kill it. So then we're going to warp back to this big dragon here. As you can see, I'm receiving some Steam messages, which I probably ignored because I'm filming this. I got the Gold-Pickled Fowl foot ready, and I'm just holding Spinning Chain, which is the weapon art for the flail. And as you can see in the top left, the health bar for this big sleeping dragon is slowly getting whittled down. And then every time I proc a bleed, it does about 13,000 damage. So it doesn't seem like you need any FP to build up the blood loss. As you can see, I have none, and have had none for a while now at this 400 times speed, 400% speed, and it's still working. So we ate the foot, and then dragon's dead. Now we get 96,000 runes, and we're going to go pay Iji a visit. So here I'll set this back to normal speed. Now we buy the Somber Smithing Stones 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then through him we're just going to upgrade this Halberd to a +9. And that is it. Thank you guys for watching another one of my videos. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm very close to 420. I used to be, and now I'm 418 again. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, I'm at least at 420. As you can see, the played time for this file is 45 minutes. With all the mistakes I made, all the failed jumps, you could do this in easily sub 40 minutes and probably even sub 30 minutes and have a very strong start. I'll leave you with footage of me killing Margit with this halberd. Unfortunately, there's still no audio like with the rest of these clips, but that's all I got. So thank you guys, and see you next time.